Good morning, traders. It's 8:05:05. I'm 5 minutes late. Shame on me. Sorry about that. Back at the office here, and a few adjustments had to be made here last minute. Somebody was using my computer, so I had to check everything. So, welcome to episode number 2300, the big 2300. Thanks for joining me today. It is 8:05 a.m. Chicago time on Wednesday, the 24th of August, 2022. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so what do we have today? Today we have a mixed posture coming into the market. This is pretty much where we were yesterday, or how we started yesterday. I want to remind you that yesterday's open was at 41.37. We're currently trading at 41.33 on the S&Ps. We see similar type action across the board. Pretty much everything is unchanged, trading around settlement. Yesterday, the Euro Stoxx a little bit stronger, but overall, you can see that the indices are all yellow, jello, in the percent yield, percent change field. Crude was higher, but crude on the open sold off. Was not quite an open drive, but it sold off just a little bit from where it was in the overnight session. This morning we got Royal Bank of Canada. That's the biggest report I have. Royal Bank of Canada missed earnings by 27%. This is a big bank, missing by 27%. On earnings and revenue came in line, basically. The big ones today are NVIDIA, part of the FANG index, and Salesforce. After the close today, we also get Williams-Sonoma, Victoria's Secret. For those of you who are fans of the catalog. Anyway, what do we have? We have a market that is really holding its breath for what the Fed does next. The recent leak or news or whatever you want to call it, push is that the Fed is likely to make a push for and continue to be aggressive with interest rates in terms of inflation. They are not pausing just because inflation has cooled off a little bit. It's still pretty high, but it's slowing down. They're likely to go for 75 basis points next month. So everybody's anticipating what Jay Powell's mood will be like and how he'll position the Fed during the speech on Friday in Jackson Hole. Jackson Hole starts tomorrow. The world's puppeteers meet at Jackson Hole, decide how our economic and financial futures will play out and how they can make money off of it. But overall, we're seeing timid price action. The market's not really committed. It's not committed to either direction right now, although we've sold off a little bit in the indices. Crude continues to push higher on production cuts and is still riding that momentum. And that's really just about it. The rest of the calendar, like looking at this morning's calendar, there's really nothing all that significant. Durable goods orders month on month for July came in at 0% versus 0.8%. The prior is 2.2%. And the market couldn't care less. There was just no movement on that number. Like it was not released. This is considered a high-tiered number. Transports was in line at 0.3%. We're looking for U.S. pending home sales at 10. And then the crude oil inventories and gasoline inventories at 10:30 from EIA. And then this evening, Bank of Japan's Nakamura speaking, and the Jackson Hole Symposium, Economic Symposium, starts to capture headlines. So that's pretty much it. Looking at the S&P is pretty much balanced, has drooped a little bit below where it was yesterday on the low. Remember, yesterday's low was 41.18. Today's low is 41.10. We put in a lower high. We're definitely one-time framing down in the S&P, and so we have a lower low, lower high in the S&P overnight. The range is relatively lackluster at 31.25 points. The inventory is 34% short, and the volume is 174,000 contracts. Really not all that much to report or talk about this morning. This is where traders will want to exercise real discretion, meaning real pickiness is important at this time. We may be able to see some volatility break out on Friday, and the market may be able to push next week. However, next week is the last week of summer here in the U.S. as we go into Labor Day. Labor Day is Monday, the 5th of September. So next week we have a 5-day trading week, and then the following Monday is Labor Day in the U.S., September 5th, and the markets will be closed, and then we are back to regular markets that week there. Schools are back and all that. And then a couple weeks, and then a week after that, we have rollover into December from SEP. So that's what's on deck. Well, my point being, just be patient. Be patient here. Be picky. It really isn't worth it to stick your neck out. Take poorly configured trades and then spending the rest of the session hoping to get back to zero. So wait a little bit, wait for your A+ setups, take those. If they work, great. If they don't, you followed your process. You gave yourself an A for execution and for trading professionally, and the rest is up to the market, okay? As far as what we were looking at yesterday, here's what was on deck yesterday. We expected two-way trading. We talked about the 41.18 pushing through the 41.21. We expected the market to make another dip down, but overall was expecting a sideways day. Sideways day encircled around settlement or so, and really not much to price in. That was the main scenario that I talked about yesterday. Here's what we actually got. This is what we actually got. Here we go. Yes, I'm back at the office. By the way, we are moving this, not this Friday, the following Friday into a really nice office. Really psyched about that. Some nice features for the team. It'll be the new office for EdgeQX. So Friday afternoon and through late evening, we will be moving as a team. So again, looking forward to that. Here's what we had yesterday, just completely sideways. Not too much to discuss here, given the action that we've gotten yesterday. What we did do is we built a point of control yesterday that's on top of the prior point of control right there. We did achieve a lower high, a slightly lower low. The trend, the one-time framing on the daily is down, expecting that to continue to be down. However, we have arrived at our station. We've arrived at that 41.21 zone. This zone here, as I highlighted yesterday, between 40.75 and 41.75, and we're still here, and we are back at the just the nirvana pricing area in that range. So between 41.75 and 40.75 is balance, and we need to just contain our enthusiasm for trading breakouts when we are in this zone. So as we zoom in here, we see that we left behind relatively weak structure above. We filled in some singles yesterday, but overall we ended up with a B-shaped profile showing that there was more long liquidation, and we would likely continue to squeeze lower. I expect us to continue to squeeze lower. We did so overnight at 41.10, but again today the expectation, we're the low yesterday for RTH was 41.25, and we're currently trading at 41.29 and a half. The settlement is 41.30.50, I believe, something like that, 41.30.50. And so to me, we're opening imbalanced, the lower end of the range. There's a fair amount of resistance above. The key price to take out this morning will be the 42, 41, 42, 44. If it does not take out the 41, 42, 44, then we are likely to just chop at the low and see more of the same. Another view of yesterday's trading is right here. So again, the blue profile is the RTH session. The RTH session starts for me at 8:30 right here, Chicago time. And what we did was we just, hugged the mid and VWAP, pushed to 61.75, failed to hold that price, broke lower, tested from below, nice little setup here, and just finished relatively weak yesterday. And then since then, so here's yesterday's settlement, and since then we have tested lower, and then we broke to the upside. We saw a fight at 41.42. Remember, 42.44 is the area to watch this morning, and then we're holding now above the overnight point of control, which is actually very strange. The overnight point of control has a very strong protrusion versus the distribution. The true overnight point of control, really from the auction perspective, is right on top of, is at 41.30, right on top of yesterday's settlement. But we had this kind of iceberg trade take place this morning that put our point of control at 41.25 and a quarter or so. So we are above the overnight point of control, above the mid, above the full session VWAP. But overall, in our structure, we're still one-time framing down, and we're still holding at the lower end of yesterday's distribution. So you have this kind of dissonance or discord between time frames, and that's what we have to contend with this morning. Okay, so looking at that on a TPO basis, we are right in the mouth of balance right here. Okay, so multiple, this balance starts, I think this starts on August 1st, but we also have the balance from May, June, which is in the same area, and we are stuck here at this in this price zone. So please temper your expectations into today's session. Okay, crude oil, nice break, gap, push, could not take out the 94, the high of the 11th. It took out the 94. My expectation in crude is that it would probably get stuck in this 93.30, 93 to 93.30 zone, and it ended up pushing farther yesterday, and now we are trading imbalance. So crude is taking a breather. It is likely to take out, it did take out its overnight high last night or yesterday's high in the overnight, it went to 95. But overall, crude is expected to stall and slow down here. We had a nice short liquidation P-shaped profile there. We found balance in the upper distribution. We formed that high volume node or high volume zone in the upper distribution. So crude is managing to find balance. And we have to see if there's further news that would push us through. Otherwise, I would expect today to be relatively choppy in crude. We do have the inventory numbers in about an hour, and then once that's over with, pay attention to the SOC when those come out. Once that's over with, it'll pick its next direction. But until it does that, I think crude is going to be is likely to be a choppy play this morning until after the 10:30 Eastern numbers. In terms of the S&P, like I said, it's more of the same as yesterday. Chop to sideways, and that's all that's expected for today. Okay, I'll leave you with that. There's an announcement from EdgeClear on this new EdgeQX automated trading system that can be traded along with your discretionary trading. You might want to look at that. You can get more details at edgeClear.com/EdgeQX. That's the latest and greatest from the brokerage. Again, remember that I fully own this brokerage, so there's a material conflict of interest that you should be aware of. But you can get more information at EdgeQX if you're interested in supplementing your trading. It's a very interesting product, and it's launching September 1st. It'll start trading live September 1st for customers. And currently they're handling all the account opening process and all that. To get more information, edgeClear.com/EdgeQX, which stands for Edge Quantitative Execution. It's an fully automated trading system. I'll catch you tomorrow. Good luck, and pay attention to risk this morning. Take care.